Now, before we start, let the following 4 facts sink in. First, a boy band announces a tour, and because of that, 2 presidents pick up the phone. A stock surges 9.5% in a single day, investment banks issue analyst upgrades. Not for a tech company, mind you, or a pharmaceutical giant, but for a 7-member pop group. Second, a Korean eyewear company charges 6 times its manufacturing costs and turns retail stores into art installations that people photograph and share for free. Google invests $100 million for a 4% stake. Third, a Thai TV genre about queer romance builds a billion-baht fan economy. The government gives the production company a diplomacy award. And fourth, more than half of Netflix's 325 million subscribers now watch anime. A Japanese art form that was niche a decade ago has become a $25 billion industry. Now, all of that isn't just pop culture. This is economics, and it's happening at a scale that most Western business coverage either ignores or misunderstands. And this is Soft Power Asia. Let's decode together how Asia's culture economy really works. Now, cue the intro music and action.
Welcome to Soft Power Asia. Icons, idols, and influence. Let's decode Asia's culture economy together.
Now it's about time that I introduce myself to you, of course. My name is Siems Luckwaldt. I'm a German journalist based in Hamburg, and I've spent the past 25 years writing about luxury, lifestyle, and the business of taste. I've worked for Financial Times Deutschland, Rob Report, L'Officiel Homme, and many other publications. For the past 13 years, I've been lifestyle director at Capital, one of Germany's leading business magazines. In that time, I've interviewed CEOs of luxury houses. I've covered Swiss watchmaking, French fashion, Italian leather goods. I know how European premium brands think. I know their playbook. And about 3 years ago, I started noticing that playbook wasn't working the way it used to. European heritage brands were suddenly scrambling to sign Korean pop stars as their ambassadors, and those deals were delivering more measurable value than anything Hollywood could offer. Korean beauty products were outselling legacy brands in the United States. A Thai streaming series about 2 university students falling in love was topping charts across Southeast Asia and beyond. Japanese anime was quietly tripling its global audience. And I kept asking, who's covering the business behind this? Not just the fan perspective, not as a form of cultural commentary. The actual business mechanics, the revenue models, the profit margins, the investment logic. And the answer was mostly nobody. And that is why I started this podcast, Soft Power Asia. Now, the name might need a word of explanation. Soft power is a concept from political science. It was coined by Joseph Nye at Harvard University in 1990. The basic idea: countries can influence the world not just through military force or trade agreements, the so-called hard power, but through attraction, through culture and ideas, through making people want what you have rather than forcing them to take it. For decades, that was America's game. Hollywood, hamburgers, Silicon Valley, the English language itself. But something has shifted dramatically, and that shift is coming from Asia. South Korea turned soft power into an industrial strategy with government budgets, export targets, and a cultural infrastructure that will make most European countries blush. Thailand is following with its own model. Japan's anime and manga empires have been doing it for decades, often without anyone calling it that. And China is spending billions to try. This podcast is about the strategies and the money behind all of it. And by the way, there's of course a good reason this podcast launches now and not 5 years ago or in 5 years' time. BTS is back. Their Arirang World Tour is projected to generate well over $1 billion, the largest commercial event in K-pop history. Blackpink has a new album out. Big Bang is headlining Coachella for their 20th anniversary. Investment analysts are calling it a historic convergence. That alone would justify a podcast. But it's not just K-pop. In 2024, South Korea surpassed France as the #1 cosmetics exporter to America. The country that gave the world Chanel now trails the country that gave the world K-beauty. By 2025, Korean cosmetics exports crossed $11 billion, a new all-time record. Netflix has committed over $3.5 billion to Korean content. Thai dramas are hitting the platform's global top 10, something unthinkable 5 years ago. The anime market has exploded to $25 billion, and a new format, Chinese microdramas, 90 seconds per episode, is generating $7 billion in revenue, while most Western media companies haven't even noticed it exists. These aren't isolated stories. They are chapters in the same book. Asia's cultural industries are reshaping global consumer markets. And the business mechanics behind them are fascinating, underreported, and for anyone in business, media, or brand strategy, increasingly impossible to ignore. Each episode of Soft Power Asia tackles one story and goes deep. Roughly 30 to 45 minutes. No fluff, one country, one industry, one question. How does this work? How does the money flow? Season 1 starts in South Korea. We'll begin with BTS, not as a fan story, but as a financial case study. How does a single tour generate over $1 billion? Why do investment banks issue analyst upgrades when a boy band announces concert dates? What happens to an entire country's economy when 7 men take a break and then come back? From there, we'll look at luxury. Why Cartier and Dior are paying Korean idols more than they've ever paid any Western celebrity. What the data actually says about the return on those deals. We'll meet the most invisible CEO in Korean business, a man who built a company worth billions by charging 6 times what his products cost to make. And then we'll leave Korea and we'll head to Thailand, to China, and to Japan. 10 episodes, 4 countries, and the question that runs through all of them: how did Asia's culture become the most underreported economic force on the planet? A new episode drops every 2 weeks. Subscribe wherever you're listening so you don't miss the first one. I'm Siems Luckwaldt. This is Soft Power Asia. And this is how Asia's culture economy really works. Episode 1 drops next week. See you then. Let's decode Asia's culture economy together.